Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com, coming to you live from the Jeep, cruising around. Yes, this is a Jeep. It's one of those Modern Warfare 3 Jeeps. Love my car, love my car. My computer recording device is down, so I thought, hey, I haven't done a exciting interview from the car, so I thought I'd do that, and I had somewhere to go, so this is that. What I want to talk about today is something extremely important, and that is bubbles. You're gonna hear all kinds of people say, it's a bubble, it's a bubble. Some of the smartest people you know of saying, the cryptos are a bubble, it's a bubble, it's a bubble. You're gonna hear it over and over and over again. And all I have to say is, if these really are the smartest people you know, and the smartest people to figure out whether the cryptos are in a bubble, why didn't they tell you that it was undervalued when the cryptos first came out? Why didn't they say, oh my God, it's so massively undervalued. I know so much about this. It is massively undervalued. Buy it, buy it, buy it. It's going to go through the roof. No, they weren't the ones saying that. What they're saying now is it's a bubble because I was too stupid to get in at the beginning. It's a little harsh to say too stupid, but when people come out, claim they know what the hell they're talking about, in claiming that the cryptos and Bitcoin and Litecoin and all those are in a bubble, and they claim to be the expert on what bubbles they are not an expert. They didn't show up on day one and say, oh my God, this is an amazing invention and it is unbelievably overvalued. There's so many people who will find amazing use for this in a time that is so special because our entire financial system is falling apart. You need to get into these cryptocurrencies. If someone like that came to me today and then said, well, I really think it's a bubble now, then I would listen. But the people that, people are sending me articles from people like Chris Dwayne and Peter Schiff and all kinds of the sovereign whatever man claiming that Bitcoin and the cryptos are in a bubble. These people were not around on day one to say it was undervalued. So somewhere between undervalued and bubble, they missed everything. So are they the ones you should listen to when they say that the cryptos are in a bubble? I'd say no. So let's talk about why the cryptos are going up so much, whether or not they're all worth something or whether or not they are an absolute fantasy. There's a little of both going on, truthfully. One, there's cryptocurrencies, and two, there's tokens representing a tool in some kind of other business adventure. As currencies, yes, there's absolute need for a new type of currency, uncontrolled by central banks, uncontrolled by governments and politicians, uncontrolled by anybody. And you gold and silver bugs will say, yeah, that's gold and silver. And I say, well, sure it is. It's an okay one, but there's a better one. There's a better one within certain cryptocurrencies that I think is going to be more useful to humanity. Teaching everybody about gold and silver at this stage is pretty much impossible. We're not going to be able to do it. Even all you old gold and silver bugs that say, oh, it's 5,000 years of monetary history. Yeah, but 99.9% of the population over the last 50 years has forgotten about that monetary history. And they know they're going to have to, well, they don't know yet, but they will have to learn something else to use as money. And you can either sit there and explain why it has to be gold and silver, or they will move towards the most useful thing, which is what's happening right now is huge amounts of people are moving to the cryptocurrencies for good reason, because the old system is breaking down, absolutely breaking down, and it will fully fall apart at some point. So that is the guts of the emails that I'm getting is, oh my God, Bitcoin's almost hitting $5,000 a coin. It's in a huge bubble and it's going to burst and then it's going to crash and it'll never go back up again. I'm not saying it won't go down. It probably will go down a lot. It'll go down because of the volatility. And yes, volatility is there. Volatility is always there in the very beginnings of any type of currency that first comes onto the market. Imagine yourself in 5,000 years ago being the first guy to say, hey, this metal called gold, we could use that as a currency. Imagine how volatile it was back in the early days. Volatility went on for 1,000 years, whereas volatility in the cryptos is going on. It's only 8 years old. So I'm not concerned if Bitcoin drops 50% in the blink of an eye. And, truthfully, I'm not even recommending Bitcoin at the moment until they get their shit together. I'm massively recommending Litecoin, which will take the place of the things that the Bitcoin core developers want to get rid of, the usefulness as a means of exchange. So, yeah, I'm glad Bitcoin's fighting it out. I was fighting with Roger, Weir, and those guys to say, hey, we're going to need it as a means of exchange. But what it really did was open my eyes to the other currencies that we can use as a means of exchange. So Bitcoin's going to lose that part of it. It'll maintain the store of value part. But I think a much better investment is Litecoin. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's smarter, it's making smarter moves. So why even mess with the Bitcoin? And nobody knows which Bitcoin will end up being the surviving Bitcoin. Will it be Bitcoin Cash or BTC, what they're calling Bitcoin right now? Nothing's set in stone, my friends. And then it's going to split again. Who's going to be the survivor? If you know, then if you think you know, you're the only one who really knows for sure, because nobody does. And you can make arguments both ways. If the banks collapse during the process of the next Bitcoin splitting, I would assume that the Bitcoin that is most useful as a means of exchange would be the Bitcoin that wins. But hey, that's just me. And I fought that fight for a while. I fought the fight for a while, but truthfully, it didn't matter because it made me look around. I said, okay, if Bitcoin's not going to serve this purpose, what is? There was Litecoin, perfectly set up for it. And there might be more, and I know there are some more, but I like Litecoin the best because it literally is going to get the Lightning network built in first, and Charlie Lee's doing amazing things. So that's what I'm betting on. And so far, so good, right? Litecoin has gone up from like $8 to close to $80. I think at a minimum, it should be worth 1/4 of the price of Bitcoin today. And because of there's 4 times as many coins, it's 4 times as fast, and it's more than 4 times as cheap. So yeah, I think absolutely Litecoin should be today valued in the what is Bitcoin's coming up the fight, so 1,200 range right now, and Litecoin is currently 70. So that's my advice for those looking to invest in a cryptocurrency. Now, when it comes down to the tokens used for blockchain type companies, that's a wild, wild west of the ICOs. And don't be afraid of them. Just pick the right companies. A lot of these companies are worthless, just like the .com days. Pets.com didn't quite work out, did it? But Amazon sure did work out. Google sure did work out. So yeah, if you can be smart enough to figure out where there's a need, where there's good management, there's good code, there's good security, which is huge, and pick the winners. The rest will go away. There's no doubt in my mind. But as these companies come to offering up a product in the next few months, or a lot of them are scheduled to come to market in 2018 with their products, yeah, those are going to be the companies we turn to as the old system completely falls apart and nobody trusts the old system anymore. That's the big problem that's going to go into the future, is trust. Because our criminal bankers all belong in jail. Our criminal politicians definitely belong in jail. And the United States, we got to take our country back. And the only way to do that is to inject some trust and honesty into our markets, and mainly into our markets, but also into the way we live our daily lives. And that's what all these not all of them, but a lot of these blockchain-based companies who are offering up tokens for their ICO and things like that, that's what they're striving to do. A lot of them are striving to take out the old system of fraud and theft and cheating and inject a little bit of honesty into our future, which is exactly what we need at this time of trouble. So when you're out there thinking about what ICO should I invest in, a lot of them are pump and dumps. A lot of them will come out to have zero worth in the near future. But then you got your Googles and your Amazons and your Facebooks. And yeah, they're going to go up, and let the pundits call the huge rise in Bitcoin, the cryptocurrencies, and in the tokens and the blockchain type companies. Let them call it a bubble. They can call it a bubble. If you were Steve Jobs in the basement or in his garage inventing the first Apple computer, and you're sitting there with Wozniak and you say, hey, let's create some shares for our new company here, and you invent one share and you value it at $1, and then all of a sudden somebody comes and buys it and says, oh, I'll buy your whole company for $2. That's 100% gain on your money. Would Steve Jobs and Wozniak sit there and say, oh yeah, oh my God, we doubled our money? No. They're going to say, what is the value of this underlying asset? What is the value of our token, our cryptocurrency, our stock offering? What is the value? Not what did it do? Did it double in price? Yeah, it did. It went from $1 to $2, and if they pulled the trigger and sold Apple computer for $2 back when they first invented it, there'd be the idiots that history would remember. The two stupidest people in the world, Steve Jobs and Wozniak. Did they do it? No, they didn't do it. Of course they didn't do it, because they're smart. And that's what's going on with the cryptos. These companies, yes, they're going to go up. And if you sell out when it goes up 100% and you think, oh my God, look what I did. Yeah, look what you did. You might be that joker a couple years down the line who sold out the $1 share of Apple computer when you could have owned the whole company. That's the kind of thing, that's the kind of thinking you're going to need. But also on these ICOs, a lot of these ICOs, there's a lot of pump and dump coming up, and there's very few regulations about pump and dump. So just be careful, because just because you buy an ICO or you buy at a huge discount doesn't mean it is going to be worth the hill of beans when it hits the markets. It might hit the market and be worth $0. And you thought, oh my God, I got it for such a great deal because it was an ICO priced type of thing. But what's the use of this token? Why would other people want to pay you more to own it after the ICO, where they didn't get a discount? And they're like, well, I didn't get a discount and I'm not going to use this token for anything. I don't think the company's going to be doing anything for 10 years, if that. So why would I go out and buy it? Though that's the kind of thinking that's going to come up very, very soon. And I just want everybody to be aware of that and be prepared. But then you're going to have your Facebooks and your Googles that are absolutely being invented right now. I listed my top 10 on the Friday road trip last Friday at theroadtoruta.com in the private road section for all you members. Go check out my top 10. These are both currencies that I think will be the winners in the future, and the tokens and ICOs that I think are going to be the winners. And that's just my opinion, and do with it what you may. But yeah, it's after a lot of study and not just throwing darts at a spinning dartboard. Anyway, this is Big Weir. If you like this video, send it around to people and give me a thumbs up. I'll talk to you later.